It's gonna explode in 3 seconds unless you take a bath! I'm on the blow.
I got a Glock in my...
Holy... Season 2 of SpongeBob SquarePants just might be my all-time favorite SpongeBob season. Granted, the end of those seasons don't even come close, but you know what? Season 2 not only pivoted the show from the first season, it set a standard for what future seasons should be. Only about 2 of those seasons even tried to meet that bar, but no matter the case, Season 2 has 39 episodes in total, and only 4 of them I'd go as far to say are either bad or mediocre. That's 35 solid episodes. So today, I've got 39 episodes to review, so let's not waste any more time. This is Season 2 of SpongeBob, ranked worst to best. Just a reminder, Gabe is fat. Anyways, woo! Number 39, Dumped. Dumped is indeed the worst episode of Season 2, following Gary, following Patrick everywhere he goes, and abandoning SpongeBob. This episode is one of the 2 in the worst tier that I call hard to watch. Not because of Patrick's blatant bullying towards SpongeBob, though that doesn't help, but because it's hard to watch SpongeBob in such misery. They interestingly did an episode a few seasons later following Gary running away, and yes, Spongy Boy was sad in that too, but it was well done. Unlike here where it's just way more heart-wrenching and hard to watch at times. There's one joke that genuinely got me, and it's Patrick's line at the end.
I thought what we had was special!
But even the major punchline towards the end isn't especially funny. Patrick had a cookie in his pocket, and that's what Gary wanted. Riveting. Absolutely riveting. Dumped is a snore of an episode, and I do wish it was better, considering how well they tackled Gary and SpongeBob's relationship later.
He only liked me for my shorts!
Number 38, I'm with Stupid. The other of the 2 episodes that's hard to watch, this episode follows Patrick asking SpongeBob to pretend to be stupid so he can impress his parents. And this is the episode's make or break moment. Patrick is insufferable in this. There's a solid 2 minutes of just him and his parents laughing at SpongeBob with these weird expressions. Man, if I was SpongeBob, it's just not funny. Outside of some of SpongeBob's reactions early on like this, I just didn't laugh at this one. I guess the punchline that he isn't even talking to his parents the whole time is funnier than the cookie punchline, and that's ultimately what put this one over Dumped. But still, not a fun episode to watch. Number 37, Something Smells. This one and the last of the worst here fall under just being a mediocre. As in, they're not as bad as the last 2, but they're not really that iconic or memorable. The first of the 2 is Something Smells, following SpongeBob and Patrick eating a sundae that has to be the single worst food this show has ever produced. If I see one TikTok with hashtag SpongeBob Sundae Challenge, I'll nuke Hiroshima again. Something Smells is just not that funny. The joke of SpongeBob thinking he's ugly when he's just got bad breath is funny at first, like how his own reflection breaks the mirror. That's just good writing. But it gets tiring after the first 3 minutes. Something Smells had an opportunity to really be funny, but it blunders by the end. Number 36, Bossy Boots. The last of the episodes I'd call bad. Bossy Boots is like Something Smells, a solid idea with a poor execution. Following Mr. Krabs hiring his daughter Pearl to update them Krusty Krab, the only joke that genuinely made me laugh was when Squidward ripped his own costume off. That's fucking funny. But other than that, there's nothing awful about Bossy Boots, it's just kind of weak in my opinion. A lot of really okay jokes that don't really land. It's just okay, I guess.
Don't be too hard on her now. Why does it have to be this way? It's for the best.
Number 35, Patty Hype. This one up to number 30 I put in a tier called okay. As in, they work fine, but they clearly aren't highlights of the season. Patty Hype is a really interesting idea. It's just not as funny as I remember it being. SpongeBob tries to sell pretty patties. That's about it. It's got overall good jokes, but not nearly as good as we get later.
Look what I got under me, kill!
It really comes down to its concept, which on paper is funny, but can really be janky in execution at times.
Hey, Patrick, are you angry too?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
I can't see my forehead.
Number 34, Squid's Day Off. This episode follows Squidward giving himself a day off, but constantly checking on SpongeBob, who he leaves alone with the Krusty Krab. This one can get really funny at times, having some solid jokes regarding Squidward losing his mind.
Now, repeat after me. You will not go back to the Krusty Krab.
I will destroy the Krusty Krab.
But again, it's down to being just generally funny and not over the top funny. I personally argue this one should be higher, but me and Gabe both agreed on it being this low.
Get plenty of rest, and if things don't seem right, come back.
Thanks, Doc.
SpongeBob! I maybe just what I need the parts.
Number 33, Procrastination. Despite being a really weird episode, Procrastination isn't incredibly funny outside of its ending punchline, but it makes up with some fucked visuals and some really good creativity. I never knew it would be so easy to make SpongeBob procrastinating interesting, and that surely is saying something.
In no less than 800 words.
Number 32, Grandma's Kisses. This episode, I argued way lower, due to its more mean-spirited nature with Squidward and the Bikini Bottomites. But it is still a funny episode following SpongeBob trying to grow up in order to avoid his grandma's love. A big issue I have is Patrick. He is so stupid in this one. He bites his damn finger, stupid Other than that, I really like the build-up to SpongeBob's breakdown at the end. And again, the jokes that land do land. But it comes down to little things, and Grandma's Kisses just could have been nicer. Number 31, No Free Rides. This episode follows Mrs. Puff basically giving a license to SpongeBob through extra credit. I gotta be honest, outside of what I learned in boating school is... I don't really remember much of this episode. It's decent enough, and it has one of my favorite random moments in SpongeBob history.
Mrs. Puff?
But other than that, this one's just okay.
You think I'll let go for a little?
Number 30, Big Pink Loser. Big Pink Loser follows Patrick trying to win an award. Having the iconic This Is Patrick bit, there's no secret as to why Big Pink Loser is considered iconic. The rest of the episode is just okay. There's nothing here that's extremely funny, but the jokes that work, and Patrick is likable in this, unlike in Grandma's Kisses or I'm with Stupid. So at the end of the day, Big Pink Loser is a really okay episode. Not much else to say.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
Number 29, Your Shoe is Untied. This one through number 23 are in a tier I call good. They're good episodes, but not top tier. And we start the tier with Your Shoe is Untied. If this episode didn't have the iconic Ween song, if I had a nickel for every time Ween had a song associated with SpongeBob, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. There's really nothing much else in this. It's not overly funny, but the song, like Jellyfish Jam and Fun, really elevates this one. The joke of SpongeBob not knowing how to tie his shoe despite him being canonically 400 years old is funny at first, but I didn't find myself loving it by the end. But the humor is there, and the song is bumping. You do the loop-de-loop, and fuck, am I still recording? Number 28, Pressure. I had to Google what this episode was about because despite watching it, I couldn't tell by just the title. But we soon learn that this episode follows the sea creatures competing with Sandy to prove which creature is better. You get a pretty great live action segment with the sea creatures coming across some seagulls.
Hi, we're from underwater. Do you know Sandy Cheeks?
Again, like Your Shoe is Untied, I couldn't recall any specifically overly funny jokes, but it's funny enough and Sandy really shines here.
I don't need this helmet neither.
Neptune Preserver!
How long can she stay like that?
I don't know.
Sandy's a girl?
Number 27, Gary Takes a Bath. This episode is a little out of character for SpongeBob, but the slapstick humor really helps this episode out. Following SpongeBob, trying to make Gary take a bath. It was simple to the point, and this was the episode next to a longer special episode. So it wasn't as long, but it still has some solid jokes, including
Gary, there's a bug!
Number 26, Pre-Hibernation Week. Pre-Hibernation Week is a really good episode, following Sandy and SpongeBob having a crazy pre-hibernation week, and SpongeBob ultimately hiding from Sandy. The episode really shines in its visual humor. A lot of good episodes from this season have some really good funny expressions from the characters, and it aids the humor rather than just have them saying something funny. Again, a pretty good episode with some damn good slapstick.
Hey, SpongeBob!
Number 25, Survival of the Idiots. Yet another Sandy episode, back to back. This episode has SpongeBob and Patrick enter Sandy's tree dome while she's hibernating. There's some pretty great lines in this one, and the slapstick, again, really aids the episode further. Not really much on this one. Again, Sandy really shines as she did with most of her Season 2 episodes.
Which one of you fellers is the real Dirty Dan?
I am?
Number 24, Wormy. Not necessarily a Sandy episode, but following SpongeBob and Patrick watching Sandy's pets. Or specifically just Wormy. Yeah, they just kind of forget about the other pets, but just because this damn worm. We get a bumpin' song and a pretty decent punchline that SpongeBob and Patrick don't know what metamorphosis is. So they just think the butterfly ate Wormy, when in reality he is Wormy. What I like is that Sandy doesn't even explain it. The episode just ends with Sandy being praised by the town, not knowing what Wormy did. Wormy is a solid episode, and it was one of my introductions to the series. Number 23, The Smoking Peanut. The last in the good tier, we have The Smoking Peanut, following SpongeBob believing he upset a beloved clam by throwing a peanut at him. The episode is chock full of really great jokes and a pretty damn good ending joke. Like Survival of the Idiots, there's nothing else I can really say about it. Solid episode with some funny bits.
But it's free day!
Number 22, Mermaid and Barnacle Boy 3. From this to number 17 are episodes I put in the great tier. These are episodes that aren't quite the best of the bunch, but they are episodes that leave a good impact. And starting us off is the third in the Mermaid and Barnacle Boy legacy. Definitely lesser to the first two, but knowing my thoughts on the first two, that's not saying much. This one has SpongeBob and Patrick watching the Mermaid Lair and accidentally freeing Man Ray. In my opinion, the weakest of the Mermaid Man villains in terms of comedy. He's much funnier working off the other villains for sure. But this one is really funny, my favorite bit being them stuttering because they're so frightened of Man Ray's presence, and then Patrick does this shit.
He's frozen or something.
Overall, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3 might not be on par with its predecessors, but knowing its predecessors, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Number 21, Artist Unknown. This one is just really funny, following Squidward teaching SpongeBob art. This gave some really iconic bits like Bold and Brash and SpongeBob making real art while Squidward is the art world's equivalent of Lizzo. Artist Unknown might not be a top tier level episode, but so much of it comes from the little things that add up. Number 20, Squid on Strike. Squid on Strike is an incredibly funny episode following SpongeBob and Squidward going on strike. It's pretty funny how great it sounded to SpongeBob, who didn't even know what a strike was.
Yeah!
Without a doubt, the funniest bit is Squidward being trampled not once, but twice, and it's both for stupid reasons.
Nobody gives a care about the fate of labor as long as they can get their instant gratification.
That was a great...
It's just a great overall episode, and it shows how creative the writing team could get. Number 19, Jellyfish Hunter. Jellyfish Hunter is a solid episode following SpongeBob catching jellyfish for Mr. Krabs, not knowing his true intentions. This episode is in the same boat as Scary Pants, showing a darker side to the more lighthearted nature of the show. When we see Krabs' factory, it's kind of unsettling how these jellyfish are being milked.
Wait a minute.
There's a lot to enjoy in this one, including an emphasis on jellyfish hunting and what it means to SpongeBob. Krabs got them headphones on his eyes. I know yo ass get pink eye. Number 18, Swirl Jokes. Like Gary Takes a Bath, there's a tad bit of mean spirit to this one, but thankfully it doesn't feel like Fools in April where it's not cleared up by the end of the episode. And damn is this one funny. Following SpongeBob consistently telling squirrel jokes and upsetting Sandy. Oi! He's spacious! Cancel him! Squirrel Jokes is a pretty funny episode and remains a personal favorite. Number 17, Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm. Rounding off our great tier is the Alaskan Bullworm! Following a worm that threatens Bikini Bottom and Sandy wanting to take him down. The episode is really good with its visual humor, but it's also got some decent jokes like this, Jim.
It's big, scary, and pink!
So's Patrick's belly button, but I ain't afraid of that neither.
Damn it.
It's big, scary, and pink!
So's Patrick's...
Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm is a funny as hell episode that actually sends off season 2 pretty well.
It was big, it was all wiggly, and it ate everything!
That's horrible!
Number 16, Graveyard Shift. This through the end of the ranking are all episodes in our final tier, Iconic. With that, Graveyard Shift is a pretty solid episode following the Krusty Krab being open for 24 hours. Squidward tells a scary story that coincidentally ends up coming to life. And the rest of the episode is chock full of visual and audible humor that just lands. I do put this at the bottom of the tier because it is admittedly the weakest of the 16 Iconic episodes, but that's not saying much.
Well, fine, if you don't want my money.
Money? Brand new bag for Pearl, but I didn't pay for it.
Number 15, Shanghai. Shanghai is one of the first ever special episodes that ran longer than the usual 10 to 11 minute runtime. This was the episode next to Gary Takes a Bath, and it is solid.
I'm being held here against my will. Help!
Following SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward coming across the Flying Dutchman. Shanghai is pretty damn funny and always makes me and Gabe laugh.
Insulting a man's ship be worse than insulting his mother.
No, wait, it was his mother you said was dirty, not his ship.
Number 14, Sailor Mouth. The episode that made parents around the world say, no. Sailor Mouth has the SpongeBob characters cursing. This leads to a hella funny scenarios and solid humor. Without a doubt, I like this little bit with SpongeBob being so happy he got escalators and the dice just go, ah!
Eels.
I know people know this episode inside and out, and truly, it's a personal favorite for me.
Take that pile of filth out with you.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, you shouldn't talk about Squidward like that.
Number 13, Welcome to the Chum Bucket. This episode is yet another with a very solid song, and a pretty great setup, following Krabs betting SpongeBob's contract and losing him to Plankton. It's a lot like Fun, where there's surprisingly great chemistry between SpongeBob and Plankton. But the highlight is the song, which I truly see as a top-tier SpongeBob song. Not as great as Oh, we'll get to it. Welcome to the Chum Bucket is one of those episodes that showcases the chemistry these characters truly have.
This grill is not a grill.
Number 12, the Fry Cook Games. The Fry Cook Games follows SpongeBob and Patrick competing in the Fry Cook Games, an annual Olympic-style event featuring fry cooks. This episode features back-to-back jokes that land, a pretty funny climax with SpongeBob and Patrick fighting. The whole episode truly feels like a classic SpongeBob episode, and that's exactly what it is. Number 11, Life of Crime. Following SpongeBob and Patrick stealing a balloon on Free Balloon Day, Life of Crime is really good at, again, that visual humor that accentuated so many episodes of Season 2. Life of Crime has no right being as funny as it is, and truly, it deserves to be in this tier.
You took my only food! Now I'm gonna starve!
Number 10, The Secret Box. Kicking off our top 10 is The Secret Box, the episode that, believe it or not, introduced me to SpongeBob. I was 5, my dad showed me the episode, and it became a memory for me. Again, this episode following SpongeBob trying to see what's in Patrick's secret box is chock full of good humor, and weirdly, the funniest lines from Patrick.
Nobody must know the mystery of the box. Nobody! Not even Squidward.
No! This one holds a special spot in my heart, and is well deserving of the top 10 spot.
Huh?
Well, didn't I tell you? It's funny, get a mess!
Number 9, Bubble Buddy. Bubble Buddy follows SpongeBob creating a friend out of a bubble. Bubble Buddy is a very charismatic character, even before he becomes to life. The amount of character we're able to get out of a bubble is truly extraordinary. Shows how the animators were on point back then. Now it's just... what are you doing with this? Bubble Buddy, again, has a lot of great and well-written jokes, and it gave life to such a charismatic character.
Oh no, Squidward, wait! There's cheese on these patties!
And?
Bubble Buddy's lactose intolerant.
Number 8, Imitation Crabs. This episode is really great with the admittedly overdone trope of which one is the real blank. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite iterations of that trope. Following Plankton disguising himself as Crabs to get the secret formula, and SpongeBob doing everything to make him lose his damn mind.
Okay, now let's hear that formula.
Sorry, no can do, Mr. Krabs.
The overall highlight is the expressions on Robo Crabs, straight A-grade comedy. Overall, Imitation Crabs might have gone down a few points since the original ranking, but it certainly is a fun time nonetheless.
That's an easy one. You just let's see if it's January with vanilla pudding. You pass.
Number 7, I'm Your Biggest Fanatic. Number 6, Frankendoodle. This episode is iconic, following SpongeBob creating a doodle named Doodlebob, and Doodlebob wreaking havoc. This next to the secret box is Patrick at his best. And Frankendoodle is genuinely a scary character, despite being just a drawing. The things that you hear from Frankendoodle strike fear into the hearts of many. Oh man, I can't believe I'm walking home to my house. Oh shit. Overall, Frankendoodle is well deserving of a top 10 spot. Number 5, Krusty Love. I love episodes where SpongeBob just snaps because even a nice guy can be pushed too far, and this is one of the best. Krusty Love follows Krabs falling in love with that puffer pussy. The whole episode is just full of really good chemistry between Krabs and SpongeBob, and surprisingly, Krabs and Puff. You wouldn't think these two characters would work so well together, but they do. Krusty Love is full of great lines, and as I said, one of my favorite SpongeBob breakdowns.
This is your pill.
What the fuck was... Number 4, Squidville. Squidville went up so much throughout our ranking. Originally it was lower, but I argued this one had to be a top 5. An iconic setup following Squidward getting fed up with his neighbors and moving to a neighborhood full of squids, Tentacle Acres. And until that time, no, is that a fucking Kung Fu Dino Posse?
I hate this channel.
The whole episode is classic to SpongeBob and without a doubt introduces a really interesting world that they wouldn't explore after this episode. Yeah. Squidville is definitely a top 5 season 2 episode, and there's no secret why. Because I fucked that squid dussy.
Oh, which way to the living without a brain seminar? Don't be late. Turkey sandwich.
Number 3, Christmas Who. The Christmas special, it's Christmas Who. If Nickelodeon had a format on how to make a good Christmas special for their shows, this is how I feel it should go. Following SpongeBob learning what Christmas is and spreading the Christmas spirit. I argue this one over Squidville because if you remember, I didn't like most of the holiday episodes from season 1. So this was the much needed improvement. The song is pretty catchy, though yes, I do prefer Don't Be a Jerk. I'm that SpongeBob fan. Christmas Who is definitely bronze medal material.
Ho, yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo. No!
Number 2, Dying for Pie. Also one of my first SpongeBob episodes. This episode follows Squidward getting SpongeBob an employee brotherhood gift, which is a pie that's also a bomb. They're bombs. Dying for Pie is actually a really nice episode, showcasing that Squidward does care about his neighbor, to the point of wanting to make what he thinks is his last day alive memorable. And it's got some damn funny jokes too.
Check it out! This is my best friend, Squidward!
Dying for Pie is indeed my second favorite episode. And I think you guys know what number 1 is.
You want me to explode?
Yes! That's what I've been waiting for!
Okay, I'll try. Gary! I'm on the blow.
That's not what I meant, you bar-
Was there even a competition? No episode has come as close to being perfect as Band Geeks. This episode has the best humor, the single best song in SpongeBob history, to the point where I hated Maroon 5 even more when they blue-balled us with it at the Super Bowl. Fuck you, Adam Sandler! Band Geeks is just amazing. Sweet Victory is absolutely the reason this is number 1. Well, that's all, but why was there only 39 episodes? I thought there were 40. Oh shit!
Cause you know we've been together such a long, long time. And now I'm ready to lay it on